Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nirmal Dadia. We have with us Riya Singh, technical analyst, Currencies, joining in. Riya, welcome to the show. Let's start with what's happening with the euro. Now, ECB policymakers have gone ahead and expressed concerns with regards to the recent appreciation that we've seen. And the major reason that, the concern has come in is that the demand is weak, especially with regards to where the euro area goes, which is one of the most open economies and really not dependent on global demand. And even in this kind of a scenario, if you're seeing the euro appreciate, that was something concerning, and we've started to see that weakness coming in again. What's the sense that you pick up from here on with regards to where the euro goes? And do you think this is something which will continue? Will we see this fall continue?
Yes. Yes. See, the major reason why euro is appreciating was not because of the the domestic factors of the eurozone, but basically because there was a lot of pressure that dollar was witnessing. So the next safe haven for the investors was the euro and the yen. So these two were the major currencies that we had seen appreciating in the recent times. But the sudden fall into the euro is basically because of the numbers that have come forth. Now, if you look at the Fed and the other developed countries' central bank, they are trying to push the inflation rate. They don't want the inflation rate below their set target. And when the numbers for the euro area came forth, it was around negative 0.2%, which was not expected at all. They were expecting to be at least in the positive region, but a negative inflation rate is some of the worrying sign for the ECB as well. And like you said, there are concerns with respect to the sluggish demand. The numbers with respect to the European factories have not come forth very very good. They have lowered the prices for a 14th straight month. So there is a pressure that is building up on the ECB's policy, ECB's policy makers, as well as to what their move will be into the coming days. So the inflation pressure, the threat of the unemployment has provided some of a gloomy backdrop for the eurozone and as well as for the currencies. The reason which we are seeing into the current momentum. Now, will it sustain? I think it will sustain unless there is a possible or a positive statement that will come forth from the ECB with respect to how they will tackle this situation of the negative inflation rate and so forth. And if there is any positive, numbers with respect to the economy pickup comes. So apart from that, I think there will be some backdrop that we will see into the euro currency for now.
Right, so that's with regards to where the euro goes. Now, from there on, next month, I think the month of November, I mean, September, November, the Bank of England will be having a meeting as well. What could be expected out of that? Do you think, probably a rate cut or something that could be on the cards?
See, the if you look at the UK economy overall, it has also shrank around 20% in the second quarter, which was the biggest contraction among major developed nations. So policy makers are expected to be slightly less pessimistic as far as this month goes, saying there will be the economy can hit a shallower base ground, and especially because UK economy is very consumer driven, and if there is a rebound that can happen, it can push the pound further into the positive zone. But with respect to the statements that have come forth last week from the central bank and with respect to the stimulus and so forth, I think we can expect the stimulus part to go on in the September meeting. Uh, I'm not, uh, well, they have said that they are ready to tackle this whole COVID-19 situation, and in order to boost back the economy, they are ready to go for a negative rate cut as well. But obviously, it will hurt the economy in a long run. So going for a negative rate cut will be a last resort that BOE can go for right now. And I think they will continue to maintain a dovish bias. And the least that we can expect from the central bank to go forth into their coming meeting will be to provide more stimulus and expand the quantitative easing by another 100 billion pounds maybe. So they have already done around 745 billion pounds till June. So maybe 100 billion pounds can be more on the card.
Right. And in turn, if you see the rupee as well, we depreciated by almost 44%, close at 73.47 against the dollar. Now, markets were muted. There is some bit of strength that we saw in terms of the dollar as well. What indication are you getting with regards to where the Indian rupee goes?
I think Indian rupee, if you if you see the first half of today's session, it was very in a very tight range, and it was not much of a momentum there. So I think in today's session, like it has ended on a very stronger note. We were expecting that in even in the previous session that rupee marking below 73, 72, 80 is the last, the support that we were watching out into the rupee pair. So I think it has rebounded from that only after testing the lows of 70 to 90. It has rebounded from that. So going forth, I think even as the dollar index gains some strength, we are witnessing quite a pullback into the dollar index as well. It is now around 93. So I think rupee will continue to gain momentum. Maybe it can open on a slightly negative note in tomorrow's session, maybe around 73.50. But I think the way it has closed above the last two sessions, sorry, we can definitely see 74 on the cards into the coming session for the month.
Right. So then what are the strategies that you would recommend from here on?
I think 73, 75 call looks very attractive for the expiry. So you can definitely play into 73, 75 call for the coming session. If the rupee opens on a slightly negative tone, or I think 73.50 is also worth a risk. So 73.50 call and 73.75 call is something that you can follow. You can either play a single call, or you can go for a long bull call strategy where you can buy 73.50 and sell 73.75. So this way also you can play out. But I'm seeing that I think rupee will test 73, 75, 73, 85 into the coming session. 20 paise momentum is something that I'm uh, predicting in tomorrow's session. So this is one strategy that you can follow. Now, JPY is some of a concern because though rupee and JPY somewhat goes hand in hand, but we are seeing JPY struggling a bit. So I think if it maintains a 69.15, it can test again the highs of 69.35, but not much momentum can be seen there. So stir away from the JPY strategy. Uh, the next strategy that you can go for is Euro INR. Euro INR, though closing on a positive note, I can still see some weakness that can come forth because it has continued to trade into lower lows and lower highs. So sell off from the higher highs into the Euro INR. So 87.10 would be a good level to sell off the pair for a target of 86.75 into the coming session.
Right. In fact, there is a query coming in as well right now, Riya, with regards to uh, dollar rupee pair growth. The query is Ankur has 10 lots of USD INR bought at 74.6. Now it's down to around 73.55. What should he do? And this is September expiry.
You can hold 74.60. Will it come to 74.60 now? That is almost a rupee momentum. So let's see first. It can test 74 into the coming sessions. So that is the first level that you can look out for. If it sustains that into the mid-September, till mid-September, we can definitely see 74.60 testing into the coming session. Now, if you look at the current momentum into the rupee, it's very volatile. So please follow stop loss whenever it is given, or mark a stop loss for yourself. Don't wait for a rupee fall or such in order to just so that you can hedge it later. It will cost you more, because right now rupee is very volatile. It will trade into a tight range for some time, but then the volatility into either direction is very high. So whenever you trade, please maintain a stop loss to avoid such situations. So Ankur, you can definitely look out for 74 first. If you want to hedge your position, you can do it around 73.50, or you can average it around 73.50 for 74 target. So the first resistance that we can see right now is 74 as a resistance. If it crosses 74 resistance in mid-September, you can definitely see rupee testing 74.50, 74.60 the later part or the second half of this September. Alternatively, I have sold 10 lots of October expiry. Okay. Okay. I think if there is a turnaround into the current expiry, I think you should exit from the October expiry, because it is respecting the 73 levels on the downer side. So once it breaches 74 on the higher side, you can exit from the October expiry.
Right, I hope that question is answered as well, Ankur. Thanks a lot, Riya. Thanks a lot, participants, for joining in, and we will see you soon, guys, next week, and with more strategies from here on. Thank you, everyone.